it is what it is. It's all chance, you know?
And then soon, Perla gets to the top. She rolls a 6. She's the last one in the door. Tell me kind of how you're feeling right in that moment once you realize what was going on.
At that point in the game, I didn't have any beef with anyone. I would have been happy with anyone going through that door. And of course, myself, I wanted to get there through that door. I was so damn close to it so many times that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be put through all this and not make it through that door. But even seeing Perla, I'm like, this is so fine. I'm fine with all of this. But getting squibbed in the middle of a board after going up and down it, I swear probably 25 times I was up and down that board. So
Jeez.
It was bittersweet.
What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Squid Game, the Challenge, Season 2 Aftermath Podcast. I am your host, DeAndre from Season 1, and this podcast is where we go through with the players of Season 2 to see what really happened on their side and what really went down in the game from their lenses. Today, I got a very special guest. This player made it super far. I am a big fan of this player because when I did my player preview, I'm like, okay, somebody with the name Mackenzie. That's my last name. So I got to support the Mackenzies up in here 100%. So I was always down from this player from the jump. But without further ado, I present Miss Player 451 Mackenzie in the building. What's popping?
What's up, y'all? I am so effing excited to be here. There is so much tea and behind the scenes that I am ready to talk about. So let's do it.
She's ready to break it down. But before we break it down, Mackenzie, I'm going to go through your player profile real quick. I don't know when the last time you looked at that, but we're going to go through it. So you're a real estate agent.
Yes, sir. I got into real estate about 2 years ago. Honestly, right when I went into Squid Game, I was broke as hell because I had started, into real estate, and it's all commission based. You do not get the hourly pay. So starting off is tough, but you got to hit the ground running and make that money.
Facts. And you probably just got finished with the test too, huh?
Yeah. So I left my original brokerage that same day. I ended up taking the test. I passed. And so I decided to go solo. I started a company with my ex, who we don't have that company anymore together. We are also not together. And so now I'm solo and I am ready to get going, and sold a lot more houses on my own than I did with him. So we got that confidence. We're puffing our chest out a bit. We're ready to go.
She said, well, how you like me now? You didn't, I'm going to get the houses sold with or without you, coach. Like,
how about that?
Okay, well, no shout out to the ex. Quick question, I guess it's off topic, but did you have this company before you did the show, or?
Yeah. So the whole reason that I applied to the show was because I was watching your season, and at the end of it, there was a QR code to apply to season 2. And I made a quick joke. I'm like, hey, I want to apply for that. I would be dope to go and do that. And he was like, you wouldn't last 2 minutes in there. And I was like, okay, bet. So
Damn.
Yeah, I had to prove a point, not only to myself, but being told that you can't do something, it motivates you. So I went through the process. I honestly didn't hear anything back for a long time. And when I did, I was like, let's do this shit. Let's get it done.
Fellas, you got to motivate your girl. You can't say she can't do something. That's not cool. Like, that's boyfriend rule number 101 is like, why would you put her down? So it sounds like.
Period. Yep. And if you say that and she goes and does it, you can't be mad.
Exactly. He probably was hating low key.
A little bit, but that's all right. Here we are.
That's all right. That's all right, player. We ain't even thinking about you right now. And so you are in Michigan, Detroit?
Yeah, so I grew up in Detroit, and then I moved about an hour north of Detroit my senior year of high school. So I switched schools my senior year, went to a little small town, and that was character building for sure. You got to make new friends that have been together since preschool. So now I'm about an hour north of Detroit.
Well, I'll be in Detroit in a couple weeks for a Michigan State game and a Lions game. So
Ooh,
I'm wearing the Lions hat, today. So
represent.
Shout out Detroit in the building. And Libra, okay, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you were younger, you wrote in mirrored handwriting, which led you to learn how to recite the alphabet backwards, a skill you still have to this day. Well, we got to hear it.
Isn't that crazy? Here, ready? ZYXWVUT SRQP ONM LKJIHGF EDCBA.
Wow, she did that quick too. She did that quick.
I don't know if I was like dyslexic or if it was just some weird shit that I had going on, but yeah, now I know my alphabet backwards.
Okay. Well, hey, look, it's a skill that then, that could maybe pop up in anything, where you got a game, they need you to recite it, or even Squid Game could have something like that where you got to do something like you never know what could happen. But that's a cool
Right.
skill to have. I was always jealous of the kids that could do that because I can't do it. So
Damn, I'll teach you. It's a cool party trick.
facts, facts. Well, Mackenzie, so you kind of got into it a little bit why you decided to apply. But I guess the core reason, like, what was the core reason you like the season that much and you're like, hey, I could do that? Like, is there any other extra reasons why?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, me and my brother watched Survivor a lot, and we always thought that that was something that we would want to do, but it never was materialized. So when I saw the opportunity to apply for that, I had actually already applied for the Circle, and I was 21 at the time. I made it kind of a little bit through the casting process, but not very far. So when Squid Game came out, I was like, this is fun. Like, I'm not exposed to the elements going in there. Like, you're in cozy clothes, you got a little tracksuit going on. And I had been through so much in my life that I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something like that. So once I got through the whole process, I was very excited. I think that everybody has their reasons for money, and we don't got to get into all like my backstory and whatever, but no, it was just something cool. It was a really cool opportunity, and I wanted that money, like, more than anything. I'm like, fuck the screen time. I don't need it. I just want the 4.56 milli.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I don't care if they don't show me on TV. If I win the game, who cares? You know?
Right. I think that's the best mindset that you can have going into it, because not only are you like authentic in yourself, but also like that motivation is top tier.
Yeah, facts, facts. 100%. We went into it with the right mindset. And so, you go through the casting process. Congratulations, you make it on the show. And so it's your last night in Michigan before you get on the plane to London. Tell me how you feeling.
I am so scared. I am someone who gets very anxious and very like shaky, scared. I start like picking up random stuff, putting it down somewhere else. But ultimately, I just wanted to make sure that I got as much sleep as possible, as much rest as possible. I'm also like scrolling through Reddit. I'm like, what are people thinking the games are going to be? Trying to figure it all out. But no, I was just, at the time, I was living with someone, and it was very chill, and I was ready to go. Scared, but ready to go.
She was ready to get out of Michigan. I know it was cold. So you're like, look, I'm gonna get out of anywhere from here right now.
Oh, yes, yes.
So you get on the plane, you head to London, spend a couple nights in the hotel, and it's the last night in the hotel before you enter the dorms. Now tell me how you feeling.
Gosh, I think we were all kind of on the same page of like, we're not going to bed. Because if you miss that knock on your door, there's so many stand-ins, like you're getting your spot taken from you. So I stayed up the entire night. I was going out there and I'm talking to we had security guards in the hallways, and I'm like, how much longer do we have? He's like, go to bed. And I'm like, no, I need you to tell me. So every hour I kept going out there and kind of bullying him and saying like, listen, I need you to tell me so that I'm prepared. And finally he was just kind of like, yeah, if you go to bed now, it's just dumb. So stayed up that whole night. I didn't practice anything. I was watching those TV shows in the UK, kind of crazy, but feeling good, feeling excited.
She was trying to get some intel, She's like, I need something, coach. Give me something.
Right. Like, you have to know a little bit more than me. Come on now.
Exactly. They knew. But I appreciate your consistency and your pressure on him. You put all the marbles on him, and I guess
Yeah.
shout out to the guard, I guess, for not laying down.
He's like, when am I clocking out? Because this girl's amazing.
He's like, look, all right, y'all, they coming. He just telling you anything at that point to get you to go back in the room.
Right. He's like, do you want a snack? Do you want water? I'm like, no, I want you to tell me when I'm going in the door.
Well, finally, you do end up getting on the bus and headed to the dorms. And so when you first walk inside the dorms, tell me your initial reaction.
Ooh, well, immediately I was one of the first groups to go in there. So there wasn't the whole shebang going on, but I counted the beds right away. I'm like, there ain't no way 456 people are sleeping in this room. So then, everyone's excited. They're seeing the dorm. I was kind of the opposite. I was like, oh shit, something's coming. It's going to be fast. So as people are kind of shuffling in, I'm more of like the observant type. So trying to look at their reactions, but immediate anxiety washes over me. I'm like, this is sick. This is cool to see this set, but also, damn.
Yeah, it's about to get real. It's about to get real. And so soon the guards come out and they say, you got to get on one of these sides, X's or O's. When they say this, tell me your train of thought and why you decided to pick what you picked.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like we kind of have alliances built already a little bit just from the hotel and like eating together and whatnot. So at that point, I'm like, that O looks real safe. Like the red X, that's like danger, do not come over here. So I'm thinking reverse psychology at that point, and I'm like, we're going over to the X. So I think a lot of my alliance had followed me over there in a way. But then you look over to the O side and you see a lot of your friends too, and you're like, oh, should I have been over there? So there was a little bit of like backtracking within my decision making, but ultimately, like it's Squid Game, there's tricks, and I felt that I had to go towards the danger zone to be safe, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to kind of reverse psychology yourself and like, what do they want us to do rather than, maybe we should do the opposite of what's the obvious choice. So
Right.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You don't know. But in this case, it was beneficial. So you get into the X line, you get into the other room, and they announce the rules to the game. The team who counts to 456 quickest, or who gets closest to 456 counting, wins, and the team who is furthest off loses. So when you heard the rules of this game, tell me what you were thinking.
Immediately I knew I had zero skill in that in that field. Like I can't count. I don't know how to do all that. Like it's not my job, whatever. So people start yelling out that there's musicians in there and I'm like, oh sick. Like I'm gonna let them take the reins because at some point it sucks to like leave your fate up to somebody else, but at the same time I would have just been a distraction. Like I would not have been helping them. So I went over in the corner and I sat my little booty down and I was like, well, let's just pray that this works out.
She was praying, had the prayer circle all in hand. You always holding hands and you're like, all right, y'all, let's get to it. So fortunately, you did enough prayer. Jesus heard you, and y'all win the game in dramatic fashion. So congratulations. Y'all make it through. Can you explain, when you first heard that you won, your reaction and you know, re- your reaction essentially?
Yeah, I mean, they plastered me right on the screen of me sobbing right before, we found out. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, my thought process was upset for the twin. That was the one that was counting because I'm like, damn, his brother's going home and he's about to be here by himself. And that's like your roommate, right? So I have a lot of twins in my family. I was feeling empathy for that. And also Blake and Bryce, I don't remember what numbers they were, but
Yeah, 285, 286.
yeah, I was close with them and I was seeing that they weren't really cheering. They were hurting for that twin. Of course I'm excited. Like I'm not about to sacrifice myself in the first game and be like, yo, but I was excited, but also feeling bad for people because literally half of those people went out right away. And I would be sick if I flew all the way to London and sat in that hotel with no phone and then see you later, like get back on that flight right as it lands and go home. Yeah, exciting. I'm like, get me back in the dorm. Let's do this. It was fun.
Yeah, RIP to those 200 plus people, but it's time to get the games really started. And so you get back into the dorms, and once you get back, you soon see 431 come back. How are you feeling when you see that?
Sick. I was just so upset because I thought this man was going home and his brother was here without him. But then I'm
Wait,
like,
wait, wait. I thought you were sad because he was there without his brother.
yeah, for the one, but the one that was supposed to get eliminated when he came back, I was like, these two volunteered themselves in the first game. You know how much ball, like their balls are huge for that. Like I could never have done that. So I knew that they were a threat just because of that. Also, the one like got our entire room under control. So then they start pacing around and like talking to people, and I'm like, I'm gonna hide. So I never talked to them in the beginning. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. And if they were to just choose people that they didn't talk to, that would have screwed me. But ultimately, at that point, I knew they were a threat just by volunteering themselves. Like it was raps. But I was by Blake and Bryce, and we all know how that ended.
Yeah, no, they went around and asked everybody, what would you do with the money? You said you never spoke to them, and so they didn't have any reason to use your answer against you. So that's a good strategy in itself. And they did use
Mhm.
people's answers against them. So they got 107, 285, and 286, the twins. Boom, out. So were those your friends in there?
Yeah, so I was very close with them just from the hotel and like hearing their story. And, on the way back in the dorm, they were saying like, our grandma's counting the days. And so now our grandma knows that we made it through the first challenge and we're going to sleep in the dorm. And that was our goal. So I could tell that they were a bit nervous, but at the same time, I'm like, there ain't no way that they're about to get squibbed right here. Like, why would they pick them? So they must have had an intuitive feeling that they were going home. But yeah, they got squibbed. And I was like, all right, so this is going to be a little ruthless because I didn't know why they were there, what they were going to use the money for, but I knew they were good people. And that's not to say other people weren't, but I'm like, shit, my friends just got squibbed right next to me. Like, none of us are safe.
Yeah, facts. Just boom, boom, boom. They out of here. And so they get popped. They're out the game, and soon it is time for the next game to start. And so you guys soon enter the white room again, and they tell you to get in groups of 10. How do you decide which group you get into?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, there's talks about like, should we stick together? Should we not stick together? There's so many different like lines of where you're like, is it social? Is it physical? What's going on? So we just decided that we were gonna, if we're going down, we're going to go down together. Like, it's so early in the process that we don't need to waste our energy trying to strategize what to do here. Behind the scenes, they were kind of moving teams around, and that's when we were like, shit, like we are screwed. But yeah, I mean, I had two very strong people on my team. I was excited, but also like, I don't know, I was just nervous overall. I'm like, I'm gonna let people take the reins because I'm gonna crash out if I do.
Hey, she was chilling back. It worked the first game. It's got to work the second game. Let me just sit back and relax, kick my feet up and recline the chair. And so you get in your team, and when you get in the room, you see it's six-legged pentathlon, and the guards soon slice your team in half. Once they slice it in half, were you happy? Were you sad?
Both, I think. Like, I had two strong dudes. I had Melissa, I had India. They were very strong as well. And mentally, like, we were sound, we were chilling. But I was also sad because, like, the other five were my friends. So I'm like, damn, either we're going to take them out or they're going to take us out. But there was no, like, hard feelings. We knew we had to put our whole back into that.
Facts. Well, they cut you. You guys soon start the game. Ball in a cup, Flying Rock, Gongi, House of Cards, and Jeji. Which game do you pick, and how does your team decide who does what?
I did the Jeggy one, the kicking, so I lucked out. But we, it was just, I don't even remember because it was like, "Meow, meow, 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 meow," like we all were saying what our strengths were and kind of talking over each other. So that scared me a little bit. But ultimately, Jarrell did the ball in the cup and Daryl did the stone one, whatever. But we were feeling good going into it. We tried to get it back together and stay calm, but
Yeah, facts, facts. Well, they went rushed through this whole thing. So why don't you tell me how your game played out?
damn. So Jarrell did that ball in a cup. I think we counted 74 times. I'm not even kidding.
Dang.
So the other, right. So the other team is like kind of flying through some stuff and they finally are on House of Cards and we are literally still at ball and cup. And I am like, we're done. Like, this is it right here. He's not going to get it in there. So finally he did. And luckily we kind of flew through the rest of it. So the toughest one, and I don't know if everyone feels this way, but it truly was House of Cards. Like, those cards were flimsy. They weren't just like normal cards. So Melissa took a few tries for that. And then Jeggy, one try, got through. But when he's sitting there with a ball in a cup and everyone's like, it's okay, like, you got this, you got this. I am on the end and I'm like, dude, like, hurry up. Like, we got to get through this. So I don't know. That was the first moment where I like fully lost faith, but we came back. So
Hey, the prayers worked in the first game and they are still with you. I mean, you down that far, it's like, I mean, it is what it is. You're already thinking about, all right, this is what I gotta say, what happened, and I'm not even gonna get to play. So,
yeah,
but
I'm looking
you
at the
know,
other team and I'm like, oh my Lord.
yeah, that's crazy. 74 times? What's going on, Jarrell? What's
I
going on?
And he was saying, like, he's like, I got this in the bag. Like, this is so easy. But it was, like, such a shallow cup that it just kept bouncing out. And I'm like, whatever.
See, when you do it, he gotta like dip. He gotta dip with it. He probably wasn't
He,
dipping,
like, had swag with it, too, though. He kept, like, dipping, but it was I don't know. He was shaking like a leaf. It was crazy.
He was like.
Yes.
Oh man. Well, Jarrell, you got lucky because congratulations, you guys made it past this game as well. You are you moving on just like the Jeffersons. You moving on, and unfortunately, your other team gets popped out the game. And so, once you guys get finish the game, you soon get back to the dorms, and there's not cut in half. How you feeling once you get back now?
Good. I mean, we're like, that was a game that we had control over. So once we get back in the dorms, we're like, all right, we're going to play this social game now. And we got to kind of like, yeah, we have our alliance, but we got to split up at this point and start talking with other people. So, I mean, that was probably the best vibes in the dorm so far.
Facts. Well, soon when you get back, you guys soon learn of a secret door where we call it the boiler room, and there is a candy machine, and player 272, Ryan, comes out and yells everybody about this cookies and all these things and whatnot. Did you get some? Did he tell you about it? And how'd you think about that?
Hell no, I didn't get some. He came back in there and he was so sus. Like, we were like, dude, cookies, like, we've been in here. At that point, we had probably been in the dorm like 2 or 3 days, right? And I'm like, I don't need a cookie right now. Like, I'm staying strong. The potential of us being in here is like another 2 weeks. So, no, I'm not getting a cookie. And the way that he explained it was so bad. Like, he made everyone so suspicious of him. So I'm sitting back and I'm watching and I'm like, this dude just basically put the nail in his coffin. Like, now he is a huge threat because everyone's thinking if you eat a cookie, you're getting squibbed. So at that point, and he was someone that kind of started in our alliance, we were like, he's got to go. Like, he can't be in our alliance anymore. But
Dang, that quick?
Yes. I mean, everyone's looking for a reason to be suspicious of someone, So it's like, for someone to do that is crazy. But then I felt terrible because he's like, nobody wants to be my friend anymore because they think that I was trying to eliminate him with Cookie. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain to you that we are in Squid Game and everyone is suspicious of everyone.
Hey, he didn't watch Traders, okay? If you watch Traders, you understand that you can't take things from other people and eat or drink from them.
No, hell no. And we weren't like washing our hands and stuff at that point. So I'm like, everyone's sticking their hand in this cookie bag. No, thank you.
Facts. She's like, look, I ain't trying to get medically disqualified because I get sick from this cookie, all
right? Right.
Well, some people get it, some people don't, but soon the voice above / guards come out and they announce that the slowest players in each group must come up to stand on the front stage. And it is 180, 89, 40, 344, and 289. And you guys must now vote to save or eliminate them. So when you heard this, tell me what you're thinking.
Well, Jarrell, my dude that did ball and cup 74 times, he's up there. And I'm like, there's no way that he was that slow. Like, we were there. We knew that he was real slow, but I'm like telling him, I'm like, you're good. You're good. Like, it's no big deal. He's like, my sons are going to be so embarrassed of me. I'm like, no, they're not. You're fine. People had to have been slower than you. So at that point, you see me and I like make the face because I realized that the musician was up there also. And, we didn't really get that much time to like deliberate on which side we were going on, especially me, because I had to vote second. So a lot of people are like, all right, let's get these 5 people out of here. That's 5 people closer to, 4.56 million. And I'm like, these were the slowest players. So to me, I'm thinking like they're not the strongest in here, right? Like, it wasn't the fastest. And my friend's up there and the musician that got us through is up there. So there's a time where you get strategic and you're like, I got to send a lot of people home. That to me was not the time. So yeah, I voted to keep them and I felt good in my decision. And there was definitely a moment when a lot of people started going to X, which I knew was going to happen. Like, let's be real. And I was like, we're all getting popped on the O side. Like, we're done.
Oh, you thought you were going home.
Oh yeah, no. I was like, we're voting O. Like, this might not be a good thing. Like, we might, because in the real show, it's like you either vote to stay or leave. So, like, we're done. See ya.
Wow, she was thinking like it's a wrap. That's crazy. Well, yeah, I mean, that's an interesting concept. You're the first person I've heard say that, and I guess, that can go through your mind, I guess, all these voting and whatnot, and we might be splitting teams again or reward or disadvantage. You never know. And so it's
Hmm.
always, not the greatest to be on the wrong end of this kind of vote, but they do end up getting eliminated. But before I go too far, how do you feel about people like skipping up there, dancing, prancing, catwalking? What'd you feel about that?
Well, the thing is that like some people didn't know anyone up there, right? And like ultimately, yes, the musician, excuse me, did get us through, but just because someone does something for you doesn't mean that you owe them something back. So like I get it. I got their decision making. The dancing and skipping, ultimately, like some people did go there for screen time, right? So I knew that that was the goal at that time. So I like couldn't be mad at it, but I was also like distasteful a little on their part.
It was crazy. I thought that was crazy. It was Dougie in front of them. I was like, oh, they crazy for
Yes,
that. Not right in front of their faces.
I
I'm like that.
know.
That was crazy.
Yeah, no, for a moment I was like, ew, I can't even believe that. But it was just so early in the game that, again, people are looking to eliminate people for whatever reason. And like, yeah, I got my list, but yeah, it was early on, early days.
Facts. Well, they all get eliminated, and soon the guards come out again and say you can either get your regular food or get a scratcher. Did you get a scratcher?
Mm-mm, no. My whole thing with Squid Game was I never want to be first, I never want to be last, and I never want to volunteer for anything. And at that point, we were starving. Like we had gone hours and hours and hours and hours without eating. So I'm like, I gotta eat, but I'm excited to see what happens with them. But I don't want to, I'm not taking it. I'm gonna watch from back there.
She said, I'm gonna chill back. It's been working so far. I'm gonna lean back like Fat Joe, lean back,
Right.
and we just gonna see what happens. And so they get some prizes and disadvantage. Did you get any? Did you eat any off of any of the people who won, like food, or no?
No, at that point, I don't think, I mean, they got a donut. I think someone got a pizza, Greg maybe. But no, I was like sticking it. I think we had spam and rice at that and an egg at that point, and I was like, this is decent for what we've eaten so far. So I'm chilling, but I was definitely trying to watch how people were reacting to it. Because in your season, there was like a hamburger, right? And everyone
Yeah,
like,
they
yeah. So
yeah
I
they
I
was
was,
stealing the food and whatnot. It was getting crazy.
oh yeah.
So well, soon you get your food, and it is soon time for the next game. You guys get up and go back into the white room, but this time there are four different boxes: yellow, purple, blue, and pink.
Mm.
And there's markers. So, which marker did you decide to get in and why?
Yeah, I went to pink and it was really just because the majority of my alliance was in there. And honestly, like the cohort that we had at the hotel, the color was pink. So we were like, oh yeah, we're racing over there. Um, I didn't realize at the time that there wasn't enough dots, but yeah, no, we hopped over there and we were feeling good about it and had no clue what the game was, but I was chilling.
She was chilling. She was chilling. That's the theme. We was just chilling like a villain. And so soon you get inside the room and you see there's lines, there's dots and whatnot. And so soon they announce the game is catch. You got to throw the ball. Whoever throws the ball, the person got to catch it. If you don't catch it, they both out. Pretty simple rules. So when you heard the rules of the game, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that it was simple too. I'm like, I played sports growing up and I got this in the bag and I was in the line with Mark and Ryan. So that whole shebang happened and that
Well, tell me
was
your
to me.
perspective of that.
So after Ryan did the cookie thing, I'm like, clearly this dude is not great with communicating with people. But it did feel like he was singling Mark out like big time. I mean, he kept like reiterating and reiterating, like people are judging you, like just by the way that you look. And someone said, like, just the way that you talk and stuff. And at that point, I'm like, okay, he's not wrong, but it could have been, first of all, not singling out Mark. And second of all, the verbiage could have been a little bit better there. So I do think that it was distasteful. However, I think he was trying to get a point across and it just didn't come across the way that it should have.
Yeah, he definitely was not
But
on his
Mark,
Obama speech.
right. But Mark was right in front of me in the line. So I'm like, I will always console somebody. And he was at the point where like it had been taken too far and he was very upset. And that's someone that's in front of me in the line. And I don't want him to be so shaken up that he doesn't perform well. So I was definitely consoling him. And I think overall, like it was sad for both of them. But crazy. Like to be a part of that was insane.
Yeah, I can imagine. We need the BTS Netflix because that was wild. We
For
only got a
real.
fraction of what really went down. So yeah, that was insane. I mean, look, 272, 252. Ryan, get your word. I hope you've been practicing, your way to talk to some folk. It's about how you give the message, not what the message is half the time. And you could tell someone. There's two ways to tell somebody to be quiet. You can say, "Hey, like, can you please quiet down or shut up?" Like, what you. And if you can't tell the
Right.
difference, then there's a problem there, coach. So he needs to get back in communications class. But that goes down, and you guys soon decide to, get in your lines and whatnot. And you're right behind Mark. I have this specifically in my notes, but you're right behind Mark. You see what happens. Were you surprised? Were you not surprised? Like, how did that go down for you?
So, I mean, Ryan, like, borderline self eliminated right before it kind of got our way. So, I was hoping that that had made Mark feel a lot better. Now that Ryan was going home, he knew moving forward he wasn't going to have to come into contact with him anymore. There was a little bit of drama between Julie and Natalie. Natalie was closer to Julie at that point, but Julie stands on business. She was like, I am not throwing it to Natalie like I am throwing it to Mark. I think it's more mental than anything, right? So when he goes to catch the ball and drops it, I was hoping that he would catch it, but I wasn't really surprised that he dropped it because after you go through something that is crazy like that, like your mind is elsewhere regardless of how hard you try to get it back. So I was shocked all around. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, you had front row seats to it too. And so you're up next, and it's time for you to throw the ball. And so it's time. It is time to throw the ball. Why'd you decide to pick who you picked? And what happened with the throw, coach? I just gotta ask, what happened with the throw?
Right. Dude, I played softball for years. So like going into this, I'm like, Emily, I'm throwing it right to your chest, like right here. All you got to do is close your hands. Insane. Like I jinxed it. But I decided me and Emily didn't know each other before that. So Natalie also, like, we were kind of beefing at that point. So like I didn't want to throw to her either. And the other lines were further back. So I literally blacked out. Like my body went numb and I was like, and Natalie was kind of shit talking me on my way up there. Like, throw it
Really?
to me, like we're friends. And she knew that there was some beef going on. So, like, it threw me off my game. I don't know if she was trying to do that, but if she was, it was a good strategy because it worked. Also, just with all those people looking at you and someone just gets squibbed right before your eyes, right in front of you, you're like, okay, what just happened? No time to process. They're like, let's get this show on the road. So when Emily caught it, I was like, hell yeah. Like she by her fingertips, yo. I'm like, no way she just saved me like that. But no, I was feeling good. I was like, so off, queen, because that was bad on my part. What the hell? Like,
Yeah, that was a crazy throw, coach. That was a crazy throw. I was like, what's going on? But she caught it. She bailed y'all out, scaled by the chin of your chinny, last hair in your chinny chin chin,
oh yeah.
and you made it through. And so, what's this beef between you and 75, coach?
Well, at the time, Isaiah and Natalie, I think, had been beefing a little bit at that point. So there's talks about, if we had to eliminate someone at this point, like who would it be? And another thing is Natalie was very vocal about being real and like how she didn't like fake people. And she was someone that I was like holding hands with as we were counting in the white room for the first game. So that is something that I don't love. You know, when people run around saying they're real, like that just scares me a bit. And she did make it very clear that she was there for herself, and you can't blame her for that. But I think ultimately, as an alliance, we were like, ooh, we're not really feeling her. So the shit talking on the to throw the ball
Crazy.
kind of just like sealed it for me. I was like, yeah, I can't be friends. I can't be friends with her.
Yeah, and it's the one thing, we're all in the game for ourselves, but at the same time, one, it's not smart to just be like, oh, I'm here by myself. I'm doing it for me. That's it. Nobody else. That's not smart. And two, you do have to work together and you got to support other people for you to make it far. You're not going to make it far on your own. That's just impossible. It's just
Right.
not going to happen. And with you vocalizing that, it's like, well, if you're vocalizing that to me and you're telling me that I'm for myself and whatnot, then you don't care about me at all. So why should I care about you and why should I have your back when it's time to have your back? So
Right.
I
Right.
don't
No,
think
I
she
hear
read the.
you. I was like, I can't throw that ball to her. I'm sorry.
She would have been like,
Yeah. We're both leaving.
yeah. Well, congratulations. You make it past the game. There are 74 people left. So that is a big feat. And soon it is time. You get back into the dorms and there is a doll. You guys wake up and there's a doll in the middle of the room. And when you see this doll, are you thinking about going to touch it? Are you thinking about anything?
No. Mm-mm. Again, I'm like, I'm not volunteering for anything. I do think that at some point, you know, there comes a time where it gets harder to resist the gambling aspect of the game, but you're kind of gambling the whole time. So I was ready to just kind of observe and see what the deal was. And, you know, amongst my alliance, we were even kind of like, okay, we're not getting involved in this mess. But the aura comment that Max made was like so real. I'm like, yeah, it does have a bad aura. I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, facts. No, he was right on that. And doll has some prizes and it has some disadvantages and whatnot. And so people are opening it up, giving it to one another, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And soon Natalie gets the doll, your best friend, and she goes into the boiler room with 361 and she gets a coin saying they can eliminate a player. And she types the number in the keypad. She comes back out, and you find out that player 80 is eliminated. So when that happened, tell me how it was going down for you.
Well, I thought I was cooked. Like when she went in the boiler room, I was like, okay, it's wraps because beforehand, like the whole cake thing was going on, and me and Daryl are kind of talking to Isaiah. I'm like, dude, I don't think you should take the doll. Like, I don't know. Like, that seems kind of reckless in my opinion, but also, like, we are all individuals. So, like, you can totally go grab it. So the cake thing happened, and I knew that Natalie clocked it because I was sitting right there. And you can kind of see me say to him, like, yo, you got to play this nice guy up a little bit. You got to apologize, be apologetic. So when he gave her the doll, he said, I have no friends left here, but we were all sitting on the stairs with Natalie. So I'm like, she knows that he's lying to her at this point. I'm like, we're cooked. When she said Shelly, I think her number was 80. I don't know, but there was relief for me. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like, it would have been a power move to eliminate someone from our alliance, but also would have been crazy because we had so many of us left there. So she absolutely would have gotten targeted after. It was very smart for her to pick 80. There could have been smarter decisions other than Shelly, but it's good that she didn't give it to a big threat because it was a good thing.
Yeah, it would have been wraps, especially what happens next is so, she does that, 80 is gone, 73 people left, and soon 98, Matthew gets in the boiler room. He gets the doll last, and he gets in there, answer the phone, and they say you got to pick a player for him. They say you got to pick a player to eliminate along or to be up for elimination along with yourself. And so when he comes out and he gives this whole speech, how did that come across to you? Did you believe it?
Phony. No, I'm sitting up there and I'm like, this dude is a cop. He lives in New York. He was yelling during catch. I'm like, these are fake tears, and everyone's feeling bad for him. And I'm like, am I an asshole that I don't feel that way? But you can kind of see me like slipping my shoe on in the background, and I'm like looking at him like, ain't no way. So, I mean, we had to go a little bit further in the day before he was able to announce like who it was. But no, I did not believe him whatsoever. You know,
You didn't believe him. Well, good on you, because he definitely, probably got these from some of his victims that he locking up in New York. He has some practice seeing it, coach. I live in New York, so I see it all the time. They're gonna say anything to get out of the handcuffs. But eventually he picks 431 to be up for elimination with him. And so it's 431 and 98, and everyone must vote to pick either to keep one or the other. They both kind of give their piece, and you're the one who has to start out with the vote. Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, at that point, me and 090 were not tight. And I was also not tight with the twins. So I'm thinking like these twins just scammed everyone in catch in their line. And they're obviously strong players. Like they fear nothing. So I'm like, they gotta go, at least one of them. So that was my thought process. They could have both went home at that point and I would have been like, sick, awesome. But also like, I didn't know them. And in the first vote, like my friend was up there. So again, with the voting thing, like I could understand it one way or the other, but from a strategic standpoint, one of those twins had to go. They had to.
Yeah, facts. I was rooting. I was like, please pick the twin. Please pick the twin. And she did. I was like, yeah, I knew she had it in her. I knew she did. I was not a fan of the twins, No shout out to the twins. But I just wasn't a fan because of just how just the essence, I could see it through the screen. I've seen something like this before, so and it's
Yeah.
strategically smart to get rid of one of them. Like, duh.
And I'm like 098, he's a little bit annoying, but like I can handle annoying versus like actual super strong players at that point.
Facts. So essentially 431 goes home. He is out of here, back up the street, I guess, to his house in London, wherever he is at. He didn't have to go a long ways, caught the tube home. And so now you guys are eating, and soon 153, he finds a note in his food about a clue to the next game. Did you find out about this clue?
Yes, but I thought everyone was lying. I thought it was just hysteria like happening in the dorm. I'm like, guys, Mingle is such a liability. We are not playing that game. There's no way. And like people are trying to tell me, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, this is crazy. So when we finally like got to the point of Mingle, I was like, whoa, we really did get a note in his napkin. Like, holy shit. But I don't know. I thought that everyone was losing their mind going stir crazy. They were not.
I can't believe none of y'all saying at this point. Too good to be true when y'all telling the truth. But you do get inside Mingle, and when you first walk in, you see what's going on. Tell me your initial thoughts and how you decided to strategize with your alliance.
At that point, I'm thinking like the rules got to be different. Like we can't really be playing Mingle. Like there has to be a catch. It has to make it less crazy violent. So the strategy that we had going into it was basically to just stick together as our alliance. We were all sticking together up to this point. So it's going to help us big time. And we've someone, it wasn't me, I'm not good with the numbers, but they figured out that if we started with 10 people, like we would be able to keep them safe the entire time. So, I don't even know what happened. We pulled like 3 people in with us, and yeah, ultimately we had a numbers girl. It was Claire, and we kind of had Melissa and Eric doing the same thing, but we didn't know they knew each other. It was just madness. It was crazy. But I knew all I was a body to add to their number at the point.
Hey, risky move. You were still leaning back, but you like, look, I gotta pick when to go and when to pivot. So
Yeah.
how did the game go in your instance?
Ooh, crazy. I think that there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, and ultimately, like, it wasn't a very safe game to play, but we had to do it. Like, at some point, people started chatting about, like, we're not doing this anymore before we had all gotten into a circle and, like, seriously rebelled. But they pulled us out at one point to try to get us to eat dinner. You're on a spinning platform with flashing lights and loud music. No one wants to eat, all right? So we were kind of mentally not all right. So obviously, like, there's a little bit of an altercation in my room, but my thought process with that was crazy because Claire was doing our numbers and Damien was friends with Claire. So I'm like, if her friend goes home and she can't mentally like do these numbers, like we're screwed. So then I'm word vomiting to Isaiah, who's our security guard of the entire room. And yeah, that whole altercation happens. And then I just was like, okay, I'm ignorant. I didn't know that his nickname was the Viking. I'm really sorry. Like, did I just blow up my alliance? What the fuck? But there was more than just the Viking comment. But I was just like trying to keep the peace, and it ultimately just blew up in my face.
That was the funniest part of the episode. I was crying when she said the Viking. I'm like, dang, that's something I would say. I ain't gonna cap.
No, I was too. I'm watching it. I'm like, dude, I'm from Detroit. Like, I don't cry over someone calling someone a Viking. Like, I know that that's all they showed, but it was a little bit more. And like, you did have to be aggressive in that game to get through it. So, like, there's no excuse. At the end of the day, I was like, I should have just kept my mouth shut. I've done it this far. Like, what the hell am I doing? So,
I know the laid back strategy is out the window, and she's just like,
gone.
couldn't.
No, athletic Mackenzie better get it together, because she had to sprint to make it through that game. At that point, I was like, I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
Well, you was working, and you made it. But at the end, you guys decide to do your rebel protest. We not moving settings. Were you cool with that? Were you down with that, or were you like, nah, like I'm gonna still try and get to this door?
Oh no. Mm-mm. I'm like, guys, we're not writing the check. Like, we can't split the money, because at one point everyone's like, let's just vote to like end it here. I'm like, y'all, ain't gonna work. So at that point, like, obviously me and Isaiah were like on not great terms. So I was just trying to be as far as possible. So at that point, I was with someone that I didn't even know. So I was just trying to stay close, but also like keep the peace and not like stir shit up. But no, I was going to book it to that door, like kick up dust on my way. I was ready to go.
Facts. Well, y'all do decide to rebel. You didn't go to the door, and the guards come out, the front man, and they're like, "All right, y'all, for your courage, we gonna reward you." And they come out with these little boxes, and they hand you the box. Did you think this was a reward, or did you know, like, nah?
Dude, I fully thought there was going to be like a granola bar in that box. I'm not even fucking around. I'm like, at this point, because they'd stepped in so many times. So I'm like, this is for sure. Like, they're just giving us this box to like get a shot of it. And then we're going to be able to eat like something that's in here. And no, I was fully thinking like, we're all good. This is just for the show. But no, the marbles, I was like, it's wraps. It's wraps. I'm done here.
Well, it is Marble surprise, and they said it's time for the game right now on TV. And so you guys soon get into the Marble Arena. You are paired with 408, and y'all decide to do a throwing game. How'd that pan out?
Well, I mean, at that point, it had been proven that I was not good at throwing. And honestly, my thought process was just like, okay, Alex, he's very level headed and he was very chill. I knew he was not going to argue with me, vice versa. I didn't want to argue with him. Like, we just came out of the trenches of Mingle. So, like, let's not fight. And one marble made it. And I think it was because I did beer pong all the time in college, but I literally threw it, and I think he had two left to make a little comeback. No, I was shocked that I won that. Like, we drew a little line, had our distance, no one cheated, there was no arguing, but I was shocked. I'm like, Alex, come on now. It was all good. I was excited, but also broken. I just 1v1 someone.
Yeah, no, she stepped up to the plate and said, "Look, I ain't lie. That was a loof throw. That was a fluke throw earlier, and she was playing the game in the game, if you know what I mean, you know."
I'm a
And so
sandbagger.
exactly, we all know what time it is, and the players before the game just stretching up, dropping balls and everything, and then when the game starts, they catching touchdowns. Like, you was one of them, and that's a good strategy. And
Crazy.
so, congratulations, you win marbles. Now it's only 22 players left. How you feeling?
This was the moment for me that it got real. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can win this. I was feeling good, but obviously there's that voice in the back of your head that's like, this is going to get progressively more difficult. yeah, I mean, I was feeling great and it was getting real. I could smell the money and ready to go.
She was ready. And so soon y'all have to come to a decision to pick 3 monitors in the dorm. Did you want to be one of these monitors?
A little bit. But I was like, I have not volunteered to do anything this whole time. Why would I start now? You know, right when it starts getting real and I can like feel that I'm getting closer, I can't. And I was like, a woman needs to be a part of, you know, the monitors. But then I was like, shit, please don't pick me. Like, I can't do it. But yeah, no, I was good in the decision of who the 3 were. You know, I was cool with all of them. There was a moment where 098 kind of stepped in and wanted us to vote for him, but I was like, yo, we already voted for you once and we kept you here, and you know that panned out the way that it did, and we don't want you in charge of us. So
Yeah, no, he was aggressive with it, cheerleading style. Be aggressive, and y'all like, hell no, get to the back. You know, we're
yeah,
not
we're like,
doing
see you,
that.
dude. No patch for you.
Ex- Exactly. No. And so you guys decide 410, 230, and 327 as the monitors, and then they, get people to give them, make their beds. They get satin sheets,
Mhm.
all 9. Were you part of one of those people who had to be like a servant?
No. And honestly, I was a little bit regretful of that because that's totally something that I would do as strategy. Because doing something like that for someone, you're thinking, like, I mean, human nature, if someone does something nice for you, you naturally want to do something nice for them back. But no, people volunteered fairly quickly to make the beds. I was shocked.
Yeah. I mean, definitely good strategy. Get on the good side and be like, look, I scratch your back. Now you got to scratch mine.
Right.
But soon, yeah. But soon that happens, and then they ask the monitors to exit the room and go in this other room. And come to find out, they pick 3 players to go into another room, and they pick 437, 417, and 98. And so soon the monitor above, the voice above, as I call it, comes and says each group is a risk for elimination, and only one group is gonna make it out. So when you heard this, what were you thinking?
I was shocked and I fully knew that the 3 that weren't the monitors were going to go home. And it wasn't because why, like the original reason that I thought it. I thought Matt was going to blow up that room and he was going to be arguing with them and like, you know, it was going to take too long. But in terms of the 3 monitors, like Isaiah has been in my alliance up until this point for the most part. We had a little bit of arguments in between, but I knew that he was a very strong player, and I also knew that Kate was. I low key knew that Max was going down. If they had to, any 3 of them, it was going to be Max.
Next thing. She had good intuition, and so soon you find out that you guys don't get to see what happens. You kind of see a little bit, and then they cut the cameras off. Like
Rude.
it's like, dang, man, that's crazy. Yes, so 417, 437, and 98 are gone, along with Max 230, and 327 and 410 enter back in the room. When they come back, how you feeling?
Um, you know, I'm okay with the 4 that went home. It's sad that they went so late in the game, but also, uh, I ultimately wasn't really thinking at that point. I'm like, sick. That's the end of the monitor stuff. It's not going to continue anymore. Like, we're good. We're going to play another game. But yeah, I think it was when he gave Claire the patch was when I was like, oh, this is when the social stuff starts. So yeah, I mean, I knew it wasn't, I thought it wasn't going to be a good thing. I thought he was going to give someone a patch and they were gone, but it didn't work out that way.
She was thinking every time you get picked or something, you gonna go home, cuz you was thinking every time you stand out here, you going home.
I was like, I don't want anything that's going to progress me further in a game because then I feel like you're low key like a little bit of a target within the games. And I also don't want a disadvantage because, like, at this point, I'm like questioning all my athletic abilities, like my social abilities. So I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Facts, facts. Well, your strategy's working so far, and soon he does pick. They do pick 409 to give it to, and now there's 3 monitors and whatnot, and so they're talking and whatnot, and soon they kind of have a discussion because you know it's almost time for them to it's time for them to make their next move because he gives, which so you don't find out about her power. No, okay. And so you guys are in the dark all about this, and she has the power to eliminate one player, and soon she decides to turn red coat on her, well, not alliance member, but her fellow monitor Isaiah,
Mhm.
and eliminate him. So tell me how that went down from your perspective.
Yeah. So, it's hard because me and Isaiah were friends. Like we literally rode in the car from the airport to the hotel, like day ones. And we also both have incredible stories. So the mingle between the two of them, I'm having a hard time all around. So I can't say verbatim from either of their sides what was said in the conversation between the three of them. However, that day, Isaiah had come up to me and he said, I know I turned my back to you in Mingle. This is not word for word, but I turned my back to you in Mingle. Like at the end of the day, we are still an alliance. And like, I thought it was reconciled. So when Claire 409 came to me, she basically, it was along the lines of like Isaiah has protected people this far, which I kind of took as myself because he did protect me in Mingle. Like he was literally our bodyguard. And there were other times too where like even mentally I'm crashing out and he's, same thing, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So when I found out that at the end of the conversation, I think that she asked him, so you're basically saying like you're not protecting Mackenzie anymore. And I think that he might have said yes. I don't know for sure. I haven't really talked to him. I talked to him a little bit, but not in depth. And so when I heard that, it felt like a betrayal to me from him. So that conversation, like, yes, he doesn't need to protect me anymore, but like also none of it needed to be said. It was crazy, and I didn't want to know about any of it, but ultimately I found out and Claire had the 10 coin. So we went in the boiler room, had a chat, and he is a very strong player. And at this point now it is very social. So that was the reasoning to go with that. And it was very hurtful. You can see that I was sobbing like the whole time that she was explaining it to everyone. But that was the moment where I really realized like, damn, like this is going to come to a point where it's going to be friends against friends at some point.
Yeah, no, I spoke to Isaiah and I'm like, you probably shouldn't have said that. And like, look, what he said he didn't say verbatim of what she said that he said. Things can get lost in translation. And I even said like, somebody you could say, hey, go get me can you get me something to drink? And somebody could take it as, why you trying to boss me around, rather than, you're just saying like, I'm just asking for a drink. So you also got to
Right.
know it's kind of like 252 or 272. Ryan, you got to deliver a message a certain way, and especially you got to know who you're talking to. Like I'm gonna talk to my mom one way, and I'm gonna talk to my friend one way, in the same message, and it'll come across two completely different ways. I had to talk to I
Mm-hmm.
had to berate my mother about this the other day because she gets mad quick, and so you got to, especially in this situation, Squid Game, you got to come with a lot of delicacy. And, Claire might have, she told you what he said, but that might also have been lost in translation. When you send a message to somebody and they send a message to somebody, it's all the story's going to change.
The game of
So,
telephone.
hmm and so, words, things could get misconstrued. And maybe he didn't say, I don't got Mackenzie's. Maybe he didn't even mention your name. Maybe she heard him say, "Hey, like I got to worry about me," and her translation was like, "Oh, he ain't got Mackenzie's back," and so maybe that was it. We don't know. And
Yeah.
so
I mean, there's so many, like, it's so intricate, right? And even at that point, like, I wanted to break away from my alliance a little bit because there were so many people left that I hadn't had conversations with. So I'm like buddying up with Trinity, like, we're sleeping next to each other, we're like kikiing in the corner, all that. And I think that also that could have been misconstrued, like from Isaiah's perspective, that I could have been like wanting to be closer with other people and not him. It was just the hysteria and the going stir crazy. The miscommunication that happened throughout the entire experience was nuts. But yeah, I mean, no hard feelings. Like, I totally get Claire's perspective. Like, me and her were very close, and I did like kind of stick up for her and mingle a little bit, but also with Isaiah, like he didn't need to protect anyone at that point. It wasn't, he had to play for himself at some point. Everyone does.
did you stop talking to him once he came back from surviving the 30-person elimination game?
Low key, while the meals were happening, so they were getting like all of this delicious food, right? And I'm like, I don't want to be picked for this because what if one of them is like the napkin shit, but it's a disadvantage? Like, please don't pick me. So when he came back and picked Claire, yeah, I was a little bit pissed about it because even when he gave the doll to Natalie, I'm like, the way that that worked out, like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm scared. I don't want to be in the spotlight. But Isaiah was very like outspoken and he low key like did want to kind of be in the spotlight. So our gameplays were very different. And I knew he was a strong player, but I wasn't totally trying to ice him out until I knew what was going down. But I didn't
So
want
you
to be the
felt like,
kiss ass.
yeah, you felt like, you're one of my closest people in here, and you didn't give me that. Maybe did you were upset not getting the privilege of being the monitor? Is that kind of like what it was?
No, my thought process was more like I was friends with Claire, and if he thought that it was going to be an advantage to be a monitor and not like a disadvantage, then he would have given it to me or Melissa because we were close.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That clears up a lot. It makes sense. That makes sense. Like I said, it's always two sides of the story. There's never just
I
one side.
know.
There's always two sides, and it's interesting to hear all that.
And
Well,
I'm in the middle. I'm like, yo, I don't even know what's going on, but like I kind of do, but it was weird. It was crazy, but it played out how it did. And I would be pissed too if I was Isaiah and that was how I went out. So,
yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And so he gets popped. He's up out of there, and I believe there's 18, no, 17 people left. 17. I
yeah.
believe. It's an odd number. And 17, 18. And soon you guys get ready for the next game, and you walk into a room with a bunch of different colored vests, and you got to pick one. So tell me what color you picked blue. Why you picked blue?
Yeah, so Claire and Kate had to pick the teams, and I could tell just by going down the line that they were picking friends, people who they thought were friends with each other.
Okay.
And me and Trinity were really good friends, and I'm like, hey, like we get the blue, like what a cute little color. I'm feeling good going into it.
Yeah, you get that, and Trinity, you with Trinity, but then soon 4 3 4 6 is left by himself, and then he gets swapped with you, and yeah. So how you feeling about 4 3 6 3 3 4 6?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that Trinity was going to be all right. Like when Drake switched with him, I was chill with Drake, I was chill with Trinity. But something, I think it's because me and Trinity were praying so much together throughout the process. And when he got taken, I was, of course, like, oh shit, but also like knew he was going to be okay. I don't know what it was, but Drake, I was friends with. I knew he wasn't going to argue with me during slides, or, well, I didn't know at that point what game we were playing, but I knew that he was a fair player.
Cool, cool. Well, you with Drake, Jersey Drake in the building. Trinity's left, and y'all enter the game, and it is marble. So when you first walk into the marble arena or the slides and ladders arena, tell me what's your first initial thoughts.
I was like excited to play this game. I'm not even gonna lie. It was like the coolest set, and it's such an innocent game. So I was excited. I'm like, this is gonna be fun. This is refreshing after Mingle and everything else we've done so far.
Yeah, no, it's a fun game. It's a cool set. It's amazing to see. It's kind of similar to the Glass Bridge for our season, where it's just a kind of a big spectacle. Kind of reminds me of Candyland. I compared
Yeah.
it to, and so you just it's just the rolling dice and see what happens. You got some
Mm.
guessing cards and whatnot, and so that's just the game we playing. And so soon
Hmm.
the game gets started. There's some drama between Perla and Steven. And so did you care about much about the drama, or was it kind of just like whatever?
Dude, it came out of left field. I was like, I didn't even know that they like didn't like each other or whatever, but ultimately like I understood where both of them were coming from. And it's so hard to say because Steven, like, dude, Kevin was gone. I would be pissed too. He said he was like seeing red, and I'm like, all right, that's a lot. But I could understand why she was emotional too, because at this point, like, we're hungry, we're tired, like, some of us were getting sick. And so I didn't hear exactly what was going on, but I knew there was some crazy beef.
It was getting crazy in there, coach. It was getting crazy. Man, I think Steven had the right to kind of get that lick back because you take one of me, I'm gonna take one of you. And so it was giving each other death stares and whatnot. And so soon you and Three Drake land on a slide, and you have to pick. So when y'all land on this slide, tell me what's going through your head.
Yeah, I mean, really early on, we determined that if someone rolled the dice and landed on something, ultimately, like that was their fate. So they were going to have to either be the one to like take the card and really talk through that with the partner, or the slide, they were going to have to go down it first. So ultimately, Drake landed on it and he went down the slide, but they kind of cut it to make it look like I told them to go down the left slide, which is insane. But I was heartbroken at the end of the day. I like heard, I didn't see him come out, and I was like, there ain't no way I have to play the rest of this game by myself. It had been like 20 minutes. I'm like, what? But
I was quick, man. I was quick, and he's up out of there. So you solo dolo. Now you got to take the full reins and get the horse going. And so you do get the horse going. You get to the top. You get to the top, but then you pick which slide, and you pick left. You pick
mm-hmm.
left, and you're still in the game. But dang, how you feeling when you got that close?
Good. At that point, I was like honestly accepting my fate. I was like, I said I'm picking left because I'm left-handed, and I go down and I'm like coming back out. I'm like, dude, so now I got to go up and down this board. God knows how many more times. Like, let's figure this out. But I was happy to still be there, obviously. But at that point, like, it is what it is. It's all chance, you know?
It's all chance, and teams are passing, and you keep going up and down these slides and ladders, and it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. And the light is fading away, and then soon Perla gets to the top. She rolls a 6, and she's the last one in the door. And so unfortunately, you 383 and 378 are all gone. Tell me kind of how you're feeling right in that moment once you realize what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, at that point in the game, I didn't have any beef with anyone. Like I would have been happy with anyone going through that door. And of course, myself, I wanted to get there through that door. I was so damn close to it so many times that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be put through all this and not make it through that door. But even seeing Perla, I'm like, this is so fine. I'm fine with all of this. But getting squibbed in the middle of a board after going up and down it, I swear probably 25 times I was up and down that board. So it
Jeez.
was bittersweet. Right. I was like out of breath. I'm like, can I get my inhaler? I'm having an asthma attack. No, I was happy that I went out the way that I did. And it's unfortunate that it was chance, but at the same time, it could have been so much worse. Like imagine being up on a stage and everyone voting you out, or like a popularity contest type deal. I was happy with the way I went. It was unfortunate it was that far in the process, but hey, 455 of us had to go.
Yeah. And you made it further than 95% of the people. So I think, and you went out playing a game, not by any votes, not by any sketchy things going on, no medically disqualified. You went out playing the game, and a
Mhm.
fair game at that. And I think that's the best way you can go out, because you're not looking back with any like regrets. Well, I should have did this. Well, you were rolling a dice. You can't really do nothing about that. And unless somebody were, maybe you could have been friends with the person who got the card who sent somebody to the top. That's the only thing, but you don't know that's gonna happen. So it's like,
Did. I did twice. They gave me
oh
that,
yeah, that's
like,
right, you
they
did.
sent me. I'm like, dude, is my luck really that bad? I was like, so now I'm happy I didn't gamble this whole time, because what the hell? Like, bad luck, bad luck. But
Yeah.
no, it was crazy. It was
Yeah, that
crazy.
is crazy. They tried to get you through code. They was trying. She's like,
I'm in my mic. I'm like, is this shit rigged? Because what the hell?
I know. Is this dice got some waiting going on when I got the dice? Like, what's going on, man? What
No,
is going on? I need a new dice. Well, unfortunately, that's when you get eliminated. So when you get back home to Michigan, tell me how you feeling.
yeah, I mean, going there trying to prove a point that I could do something that someone told me I couldn't, that's something that I've dealt with pretty much my entire life. So being able to not only prove to myself, but to everyone else that, like, hey, I made it this far. I broke up with that guy. I moved out. I, left the company. I'm like, hey, I hard resetted my life. And all I could have asked for, if not the 4.56 million, was just to learn something about myself and prove it to myself that I could do something like that. So coming out with a ton of awesome friends that I will literally have forever, like we all stay in touch. I couldn't have asked for more, truly. Like I got some screen time of me crying and crashing out a little bit, and what more can a girl ask for, you know?
Yeah, no, you did that for sure. I mean, you took care of business. You had some tears. You had some laughs that they didn't show, and it was a good time for you. But the biggest thing, like you said, was you took away a lot more, and it's better to do that than come out the game and just be like not really have any friends after, or just be bitter about it. You gotta
Hmm.
you gotta take what you can get, and like you said, there's only one winner, and you got to come out with something. And those relationships that you made can go a long ways. Like a lot of people I met in the show, they've came with events with me. I've given them opportunities, they've given me opportunities with different things. We collaborate on a bunch of stuff, and it's a great network to have as friends, but also, in stuff that you don't even know what's going to happen in the future. So, I
Hmm.
mean, and especially you guys have a lot of really, really cool people. I love people from y'all season. No shade to my season, but y'all like the people from y'all season a little better than my season. And so I think
Oh,
that's great just because you can win the money, but at the same time, you can also leave with some other things as well. And as long as you leave with something, I think that's just as important.
right. Yeah, no, I would recommend everybody apply to be on that show because it truly is so much character building, and like you learn so much that there's nothing like it. Truly a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
Facts, facts. Well, Mackenzie, you did amazing. You killed the game. I believe you got like what, 14th, 13th, 14th,
I think we all tied for 12th. Yeah.
12th, 12th place. That is insane. Insane. Good Lord. I can't even, it just sounds crazy to say. But congratulations. You did excellent. I know you're gonna continue to do great things. Keep on keeping on. And it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I really appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been awesome. And I mean, you're a great host, so it made it easy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm trying out here, Coach. I'm trying. Well,
Okay.
to everybody back home, if they want to keep up with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, on TikTok, I'm at Mac Bellows, and on Instagram, I'm also at Mac Bellows. So check it out.
Follow her, y'all. Follow her because I know I do follow her on Instagram. I'm about to get on the TikTok right now and click that button, so do it. But everybody back home, thank y'all for joining and listening. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, y'all. Peace, blessings, deuces, and have a great rest of your day.
Right.